Oh,
Turn it down.
this is the podcast studios brought to you by Machine Inc. Welcome, everybody.
Anthony Panzica. Good to have you on.
I don't even know last time I saw you. I was saying it before we started, man. It's great.
Yeah.
Blast from the past, you know?
Yeah. If you need me to turn it up or down, we can do that here.
Okay.
You were saying you were doing some podcasts too, right?
Yeah, I filmed a few for real estate things. So about like what to expect in the process, like exemptions and assessed values and stuff in Cook County. So I filmed a few, but I always kind of wanted to do more, but it just time and how to plan it and schedule. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, if you wanted, I'm trying to open this up too to
Okay.
other people. So it'll be available pretty
Okay.
soon. So
Okay.
if you ever
cool.
want to do something or, that's the engineering booth.
Okay.
So, yeah, you get it.
Can fool around with all this stuff. Yeah. It's great.
So what do
Great
you think
setup.
about this? Because now you're making me think. What if, I don't know much about the blockchain. Do you know anything about the
Not
blockchain?
much.
But I know it's like embedded,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking like, instead of having like paper contracts, what if you did like a podcast that was a contract, like the video was, and you didn't
Yeah.
need, you could get away from all the paperwork.
Yeah, I send intro videos now because I was to help out like time purposes instead of me having that same phone call like same thing. I made like a video and I send that to people. So it's like, hey, this is my intro video. So it's like a very short, maybe like a minute, 2 minutes, and it's just me like explaining the process. So
Yeah.
I cut down on a lot of time because before I used to spend a lot of time making a lot of phone calls like, hey, I'm Anthony. Then you catch them, they call you later, so you're not on anymore. Like you forget, or you're
Yeah.
in the middle of a bunch of shit. So I send these videos out, and it's been helping me a lot, saving me a lot of time.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
For like, so people that are buying or selling, what to expect,
Yeah.
like initially, like
Yeah.
what,
so
run
like
me
they,
through that a little bit.
yeah, so they have no clue. So then it's almost like I kind of filmed a little quick video to help me repeating the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, hey, like this is probably your first time doing this. If it not, maybe we met before, but something simple like that. And then it just kind of explains like, okay, the attorney review comes up. Then there's an inspection. If you're buying, you're getting a loan. Like make sure your loan stuff's good. Like, but don't do anything until like we complete that inspection because maybe we're canceling or maybe we're asking for credits. Like how to like what to expect. A lot of times is that most clients I represent are first time buyers or
Yeah.
first time sellers. Like I have investors too, they don't need all that stuff. But like
Right.
first time you're selling, you have no idea. You were like, I was on that side of the table. Now I'm on like, what do I do now? I'm like, you just sit back, like get prepared to boxes and stuff, start backing up your things, you know?
Yeah.
Like we'll order title, we'll take care of all that side. But like that's kind of like the other end of it. So I feel like those little in my industry, this is all like foreign, like no attorney's doing this. So it's like kind of a dated industry. They still want papers and faxes and things like that. So me sending out video links, everyone's always like, wow, look at that.
Fancy
So
pants.
I know. They're like,
You're in the
man.
new age.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, makes you look good.
That's cool. So that's what you do. That you represent.
Mostly at closings, like that's kind of where I go. So on a day-to-day basis, I could have 0, but I could have like 5, right? So I'm traveling to different title companies in Chicago suburbs, right? Wherever there's a location. And then I go there, meet the clients, explain all the documents, and I'm on to my next case. So
Yeah,
surprisingly, it's a little busy right now. So it's good.
that is good.
Good.
Doesn't seem like there's a lot for sale right now, though.
No, but when it goes, it moves. So as long as it's priced right, they're like, I just got a phone with someone. They had a deal cancel and they relisted it, and they said they had like 25 people at their open house over the weekend and got like 4 offers. They're gonna decide today what to take. I was like, man, it's crazy. Like the interest rate's still like 7%. You know,
Right.
So during COVID, that was pretty normal because the rates were like 2 and 3.
Right.
Or like
Yeah.
7. We got 25 people, 4 offers, right? So things are
It's
moving.
weird.
Yeah.
I wonder how that all shapes up.
I think people just got like, everyone's like, wait till next year, the rates will drop. Wait till next year. And now it's been like a couple of years of this. So they're like, dude, what am I going to be living in the basement for another 2
Yeah.
years? Like, I got to get a house, you know?
Yeah.
So I'll refi when the rates drop. I feel like that's been kind of more accepted this year.
Yeah. I heard someone say you buy the house, not the rate.
Yeah, exactly. So like
I was like,
maybe refi when the rate drops, right? Everyone's kind of in that boat the last 2 years who bought a home. So
Yeah. You think that's realistic? You think it's coming down?
every loan officer you talk to will be like, wait until next summer. Like in 23, it was like, wait till 24. Then you get to 24, you're like, what's up? And they have no answer. Then they're like, well, wait till 25 though. Now you're summer 25 and it's still like, okay, where are you at? Oh, wait till the end of the year. I'm like, you guys have no idea. So nobody knows.
Yeah, no one knows what's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah.
It would be great if it did come down. It feels
Yeah.
like it would boost sales,
I
but
feel like it because Trump has been, I feel like he'll just get on X or Twitter, right? And just be like, hey, guy, lower that rate. And I'm like, I don't think it works like that. You'll just like yell at him. But
just
yeah.
announce it on Twitter.
Yeah,
That's how
do
we're
it.
passing things now. Yeah.
That's how it'll work. But it doesn't seem to shake. But yeah, I feel like people are like I've done some buy sells where people are leaving 3% to buy their bigger home, but now they're going to 7, right? And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's such a terrible thing. But I we were in a small home. Now we have 3 kids, like or two kids. We had 0 when we started. We need more space, so they're biting the bullet. But I feel like a lot of people are holding on to that, so they would maybe if the rates dropped, it would just spur a ton. You know, more people would be more willing to bite a 5% than a 7%.
Yeah. Or second mortgage or something.
Yeah, anything.
Like, how are you going to give up a 3%, a 2%?
It's crazy.
That's the thing. If you have to, then
Yeah.
you will, right?
Yeah. But it's like, man, you might as well just rent that if you could, right? Because
Exactly.
like that's free money. You got
Seems
2.5, 3%. I'm like, geez.
Right.
It's
And like
super crazy.
historically, what's going to make you more money than like the equity in your house?
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a
It's-
long-term play.
yeah.
Like real estate, you hold and you just sit there and it just goes up, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to really do too much, like time.
Yeah. You invest in real estate? Do you
You
try
know,
to?
Yeah, I'm always on this side, like the lawyer side of it, right? Like I own
Yeah.
my own home. I bought and sold my own properties couple times.
It's
But
probably not even worth it for you.
yeah,
You are an attorney.
I know. I always hear the bad stories, but I really want to get into it. So I've been starting to look more myself. I've kind of like positioned myself now to like make that next move to buy a bigger rental property. So
Cool.
I was gonna look at like a single or double thing. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go all. I'm gonna get like a bigger thing.
Are you? Is that what you're looking for?
That's what I'm looking for. I saw some Grant Cardone thing. He said, don't start with like the 2-unit. Just go to like the 20-unit building. Just go in. If you're gonna do it, do it. You know.
Yeah. Well, you should know. I got my license.
Oh, is that
You're
right?
not, yeah. I'm
Awesome.
sure you know a lot of
Yeah.
people, but I did. And no, I do know a decent amount about
Yeah.
multifamily,
Yeah.
larger size.
Yeah.
So anyways, if you want
Yeah,
to
there's a
know
lot of
like what to look at,
opportunities.
or when you go look, if you just want an extra set of eyes,
Yeah,
that's cool
For
too.
sure.
Yeah.
For
I'd be
sure.
down.
Awesome.
I did a little bit of marketing for something that is under contract.
Okay. Great.
That is kind of neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I had the similar situation.
Okay.
So we had a listing for a home and we listed it and then we
Okay.
got above asking for it
Okay.
with like a bunch of like in the first few hours,
Okay.
which really makes me wonder, like, is there anything you can't put on the market if it's ready to go? Like what?
It's weird. As long as it's priced right, even if it's not even priced, I still feel like you'll get calls. You know.
Yeah.
But we'll
But-
see.
Going back to the multifamily, do you do your own management? Your brother does management, right?
He was, and then he kind of stopped doing that. So he still works in my office, working with like a few specific
I know
agents
you-
that we
yeah,
work with.
You guys do stuff together.
He was doing we were doing a ton of short sales when those were around. So not as many now. Once in a while we get some, but yeah, he kind of helps me do those, and then he works with a few specific agents. He works like solely with.
Cool.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's been interesting to see how it's going because I started in 08. 08 was like nothing but foreclosures and short sales. So to see all that, like if I had money when I first started, it would have been helpful. Not student loans and debts, you know.
Right? You remember what things were
everything
selling
was-
for, don't you?
like pennies,
Right?
Like condos, 25 grand. You know, it's like what the hell?
Yeah.
But I just had no funds to do anything. So
What's the cheapest house? Do you remember seeing
I
this?
mean, it was literally condo like above where our office is Irving and Western. There were
Yeah.
condos selling for $25,000. Those are now like 300 or 400. You know,
Yeah.
could have easily picked that up. we were doing short sales and these homes are selling for nothing, 20 grand, 30 grand, 40. The mortgages were like $500,000 and they were selling for 40,000. Didn't make any sense. I was kind of like, what the hell? How did you guys get to this point? They're like, oh, you just wrote on a piece of paper how much money you made. No one cared how they got the loan.
Oh, right,
And
yeah.
then they're like, do you want my social that I used to get the loan or my social that I used to file my tax returns? I'm like, I didn't know you could have two. So
Yeah.
it was a really odd time
Yeah.
for me. And I was just like starting. I was like 25. I didn't know anything. I'm like, how is this stuff? What happened here? Why do you have 3 loans?
Yeah. Second mortgages
Yeah,
on top.
third
I think I
mortgages.
talked to you about that before.
It was
At
like
one point.
I was doing so many. I just was like, I knew nothing, had no clients. And they were like, I heard the Panzica, the son does all these short sales. And I was like, I do. I'm like, all right, I guess I do. So then all these real estate agents I didn't even know, they were like, every attorney I know, they don't do them. Do you do them? I was like, yeah, I guess. And then I just started getting flooded with all these things because no one wanted to do it. It took so long. It was a lot of like online stuff, like no one really knew about. Like, it sounds stupid, but like scanning a document in '08, that was not like your average attorney's age was like 60s, 70s. They're not scanning. They don't know about Equator. They don't know about the logins. So I was like, I could scan.
Yeah.
So
This is easy
it's
enough.
easy. I could gather documents. I could put this stuff together, but it was a lot of calls and follow-ups. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, because you got to get the bank to agree
and there
because
was
they
no-
didn't want to
They
agree.
didn't want it. It's like fighting them. I'm like, can you put in writing that you're waiving the deficiency too? They're like, you want us to say we're waiving 400,000? We're only getting 30 grand. I'm like, you gave the loan, not me. Are
And
you
they
gonna
would.
come after this guy for all his money?
Yeah.
So we'd have to fight to get that waiver in there too. So they didn't bother the homeowner.
Yeah.
That was a kind of a big thing.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people didn't get that waiver.
No, and they foreclosed. They got to go file bankruptcy. So
And a lot later, they
lot
would get that letter.
years
a
later.
lot later.
Yeah, I've seen people in the last recently get letters talking about the banks trying to come after them from some deal that foreclosed in like 2011 or 2012. It's
You
like,
need
dang,
that. What's that letter you
a
need?
deficiency, like
Yeah.
a waiver of the deficiency.
That the bank has to have,
Yes.
preferably notarized.
Yeah. No ability to go after you for any money. So in the
Yeah.
first loan, it was pretty easy, but the second line of credit where the guy spent like 100 grand and now we're offering him like 3,000, that was always rough to get them to sign up. They're like, Anthony, this was a line of credit. The guy blew the 100 grand. I'm like, oh, what do you want me to do?
The house is not worth it.
Yeah, I'm like, you gave the loan. So yeah, so good news is we don't really have many of those now. More it's regular sales, regular buys. Everyone's got equity, so
Yeah, you got no. How do you have rates for something like that? Because how do you gauge your time? Because
Yeah.
one could take you the bank's one loan and it's done.
it's almost the only similar now. Like you just have to get like a pipeline going, right? So like if the deal falls through or doesn't close, like whatever, like you have more in the pipeline going.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like to do well, for me at least, it's like the more transaction, more volume based. So I
Yeah.
have a pretty good staff now. I have like 6 employees. They handle a lot of my like day to day, so I'm not missing a date or an extension or something like this. And then I'm the show now. Most of the time I just show up, got to put on the suit, go to the closings and do my thing there. And
Yeah.
spend time with the clients. So that helps me a lot.
You look good with the suit.
Thanks, man.
It matches your bracelet.
Yeah, my daughter made that, so she makes me one every week. I'm like, I guess I'll wear the blue with it.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, that's nice. That's a pretty big office then.
Yeah. So the
mean-
6, so they're all full time. So, and then they kind of all feed me, I feel like, right? Because they're all doing things. I'm involved too. Like things come up or there's problems, I get involved. But a lot of times it's more just like seeing it through. You know, I pop in a lot. I check all the emails.
Yeah.
But like, I can't be in court or doing the closings and then dealing with a thing that's like they didn't send the extension request. It's like, no, my office is handling that. I'm sitting with the client. This is the most important thing, the one-on-one with the client at the closing, like being in person, like sitting with them. I always feel like that's my trademark, to be there.
That doesn't. Well, you being there is probably more what happens, right? Because
Yeah.
not clients aren't really showing up. They're pre-signing, right?
Sellers never come. So I'll pre-sign with those clients. But on the buy side, getting the loan, they want them in person.
Yeah.
So I'm always at the buy transactions, not really the sells. So that helps.
Yeah. But if you're at the, do you have to be at the cells or no? You just pre-sign
I
it, give it to
pre-sign
their
and drop
attorney.
off- Yeah, I kind of either overnight it or I'll drop it off. So that saves me some time because I was pre-COVID, everyone came. I mean, you probably knew, like you get 2 attorneys, 2 clients, 2 agents.
Right.
Like everyone knows I got to go to the closing. It's hard to schedule always. Now it's like they just don't, no one cares. Wherever the attorney wants to go and the buyer wants to go. It's pretty rare when you get like the big room now with everybody in it. I feel like that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. I'm not at too many closings,
Yeah.
but I know if they can be avoided, they're like,
Wow.
oh,
Like maybe the agent goes for the photo op with the buyer, but they usually show up towards the end after
Yeah.
like we do our thing, you know?
yeah.
But yeah, it's
You-
nice to not have to go to all those.
So your time is mainly spent just buying and selling as an
Yeah.
attorney? Just
Yeah.
real estate?
Just real
Just
estate.
just purchases and sales?
I go to some building, like sometimes they'll buy properties in the city, and even some other towns too, but mostly Chicago. There's like violations, so
Okay.
they have to get cleared in court. So I do those for some clients that do like rehab work and flip houses.
Okay.
So I do some court stuff there. Then we make like some land trusts or LLCs or something, but it's mostly derived off of like representing clients buying and selling.
Right. So that's who you accommodate.
Yeah,
You're not just open up LLCs for.
no, that's like partly.
Yeah.
Like clients want to do that. Sometimes they'll be like, I want to do like I want to make a medical thing and I want to do that. I'm like, I don't know anything about that. Like, I'm just doing this if the guy's doing a real estate case, you know?
Okay. So you strictly stick to real
yeah.
estate.
And again, mostly buying and selling residential, sometimes commercial things, but mostly residential.
Yeah. That's pretty. Isn't that scary? Because how does it doesn't seem like there's a lot selling, but if you're staying busy.
Yeah, because it's like I'll work with like my range is pretty big now. Because not stunningly, if you start in 08, I'm like, man, I've been doing this like 17 years. I've been doing this. It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
So like over that time, I've now got long time clients. You know, like they'll buy their home in 2014, and then they'll be like, hey, Anthony, I'm selling. My agent has another attorney they work with, but I told him I want to work with you. I'm like, wow, you remembered me from 10 years ago? I'm like, it's great, you know? So
well, you're like the guy, right?
Yeah.
Like your attorney is like one of your guys.
Yeah. So they like to a lot of clients, like they like remember, like I'm their lawyer, you know? So
Yeah.
they'll always reach out, and I try to send some like Christmas cards at the end of the year. I keep a pretty big database. Sometimes you talk to other people like, oh, it's such a waste of money. I'm like, no, you're missing it, right? It's like to keep yourself in their minds, you know?
Right.
And like some clients will be like, you know, I don't even get a Christmas card from my family, but you know who sends me a Christmas card every year? My fucking real estate lawyer. I'm like, wow, man, all right. I guess it's working, right? It's worth spending those thousands of dollars and putting these email lists together and mailing them all out, because like it does mean something, you know?
It does. No, it does. It's funny.
So,
because even our mortgage, like I'm like, oh, I got a birthday card. I got
yeah.
or one of them's like from the house I bought from, but it was handwritten,
Yeah.
or at least it
means a
looked
lot.
handwritten.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
So
I sign them all.
yeah,
It's like 4,000 cards plus I sign. So I'm like signing all these. Then we got to update our list, because then the people sell and they sell with us, hopefully. And then I got to take that out, put the new address. So my staff kind of helps me with that too. But it's a lot to put all that together. But it works because it kind of keeps the people coming back. So I get a good repeat client business. And then I work with a lot of real estate agents, and they feed me a lot of cases too, because they're like,
yeah,
honestly, I
they
feel
know
like
you're
I'm
reliable.
Yeah, because like we close the deals, we make sure everything goes well. Like if issues arise, I'm always around after the fact to help. So I know how it all works. Like you have to do good. You're on like performance base almost all the time. Like if I came in and I just sucked and I was like, who cares? Just sign this piece of paper. They'll probably be like, yo, like, why am I referring this attorney? Right.
Yeah.
So I always feel like they're grading me. The loan officer's looking, making sure I'm doing a good job. Like everyone's kind of watching the client too. So I always got to be on. I always feel like I'm on during these little like mini sessions for closings. And then once someone like sees like wow, the attorney I work with doesn't even come. Like they just call on the phone. You're here in a suit. You got your laptop. You're explaining things. You've been here for an hour and a half, 2 hours. They're like,
Yeah.
my attorney doesn't even show up.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. So,
Yeah. Well, there's a
yeah.
difference. That you're separating.
It's helping me out.
Well,
helps me
after
a
this,
lot.
could you imagine? You're gonna get at least one. You're gonna get at least one more
Yeah,
customer.
it helps. Like, so all these little things kind of help. So I feel like that's grown me. So like even when it slowed down, like I'm still sustaining. Like I know what it is. Like COVID times, everyone kind of goes back to that, but like that's unrelatable. Like you'll have 2 probably not good months, right? I'll have 2 amazing months, and I'll have like the rest just like pretty good, you know,
Yeah.
or below average or middle above average. So I kind of expect that. So I kind of budget my year. Like I know I'm not going to make much money in the winter. but I'll make sure I pay payroll, you know? And
Yeah.
then when it comes now, like, okay, now I'm going to make some more money, right? So I kind of already have that in my mind, like how it's going to go.
Yeah, that ebbs and
That ups and
flows.
downs,
Is it consistent?
almost like clockwork. Like I should be taking trips in January and February because nothing's rolling, you know? It's easier for me to take time off. It's hard for me to take time off now because now there's like, it's just, there's too much happening, you know?
Yeah.
Like too many contingencies and deadlines and closings have to close. I got to be available.
This is kind of a real, I mean, it's like just after spring-ish.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is when
Things
a lot
are-
of people have been listing, right? When do
Yeah.
they tend to list? Like,
I feel like after the
the
Super
May?
Bowl is a weird thing, but it's usually after Super Bowl. Like literally, Super Bowl happens and then all these things come in.
when's
I
the
don't know,
Super Bowl?
February,
Okay.
end of February. So it's
Okay.
like why that's the date, I don't know, but it's like Super Bowl ends and then the next week you get all these new contracts in. I'm like, what the hell? So
Yeah.
I feel like the time for the spring market is that, right? Because you're going under contract end of February, March, and you have closings in April, May.
Yeah.
So it's been a pretty busy, I've been more busier this year than I've been the last 2 years. For me personally.
Means you're doing
So,
something right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been busier.
Yeah.
Well, last year, maybe not so much. Maybe last year was
Still
a little
feel like
slower.
the hits of the rate were just kind of looking at people like, oh, I mean, it wasn't that long ago rates were 3. Now it's been like 3 years since that was 3. So now you're kind
Right.
of like more removed to be like, yeah, it's been a while since it's been 3%. So
Yeah.
I guess
It's
I got to do this 6.95 or something.
right. And if you were going to do something or thought you might, that 3% rate was really kicking you in the ass
Yeah,
to get it
yeah.
going, like get it done before this
For sure.
disappears.
And now you're so much. How much are you gonna beat yourself up over for it, right? It's like, all right, I messed up, but whatever. I need a home. Like,
Right.
if I
Right.
wait till rates drop, the prices are probably gonna go even more. You know,
Right.
So it's
That's
like,
right.
I might as well jump in it now while I like can maybe still get a potential good deal.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's like what you can afford, right?
yeah,
It's not always like some people are always like, look, when investing, they're like, oh, I got to get the best deal. And you should get the best deal by
Yeah.
all means. But it also comes down to like, what can you afford?
yeah,
What's the ROI?
Sure.
What's safe, right? It's not always about like, oh, if I'm trying to like flip this thing like right
Yeah,
away. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, you got to
Yeah.
look at it kind of like a business,
yeah,
like its own company, right?
yeah.
And you want it to perform independently, all 100%.
Yeah, I got some guys that are doing flips now, and then they see some guys do like wholesale deals, and he's like, maybe I should get into wholesaling. And I'm like, but do you know anything about it? And he's like, well, I'm going to find out, right? So he started to do some of those, and he's having some pretty good success at that. So there's like a lot of different ways you can do it, right? Like
Yeah.
many different ways in real estate to make some money. So
The wholesale, I know I was a part of something early on. We renovated and somebody wholesaled it to us before
Okay.
we renovated it.
okay,
And then I remember the guy asked, he was like, or the seller was like, so what are you paying for it? And then,
no one wants to say.
well, we were like, yeah, he's like, well, we were like, you're getting your number. It's
Yeah.
not really. And then afterwards, because the guy that we bought the building from actually was like, it was like his pride and joy, his life. So then he was like around all the time because
Yeah,
he had nothing to do.
yeah,
He was in his late 70s and I started to renovate the property.
okay,
So he was like my buddy. He would come
Sure.
around. And then he's like, what did you pay for? Like, and I didn't care. So I told him, and he's like, that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He was like, I think they whole sold it for like 300K profit.
okay. Wow, man, that's a big one. So sometimes I feel big, 'cause, like I've represented the middleman, I've represented the end seller, and I've represented the end buyer, right? So like the actual seller, right? So there's 3 different roles in that wholesale game, right?
Yeah.
And when you represent the seller, I'm like you could just like sell this for more, right? Like you want to like they're like, Anthony, it's just so much trouble. Like I'm being relocated in my job, and like I'm moving anyways, so I know they're gonna make some money, but like what the hell, I'm like, oh, all right. But make sure your fee's $600. Don't raise it over. I'm like, oh, okay, but you're gonna give away like 25 grand in equity. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Just because, like, yeah, that's so strange. I never really, even after that, I never really understood how.
It's the middleman's almost like taking the equity right out of the home, but then finding the end buyer who's gonna pay that price because it's still a good value. But
Yeah.
then the seller could have sold it for that value too.
Right, like,
so. I
why-
always feel awkward or odd,
Right?
but the seller agrees. if I'm in the middleman, I'm not talking to the seller, but I represent the seller. I'm like, seller, you are aware what's happening, right? You fully understand. Like, yeah.
How
All right.
can you perform? I had to do some tests for. I'm sure your tests are a lot more specific. How can you say that you're taking care of a seller if you're not like stop what you're doing?
Yeah.
But because it's obviously they can make up their own mind, right?
Yes. Yes. They're like, we had it, like you said, they wanted a number
Yeah.
in their mind. I don't know if they came to that number, but if they hit that 300, they're fine.
Yeah.
So if I net 300,000, I don't care. I'm like, but you could get potential. It's too much trouble. All right.
Yeah.
And then the wholesaler guy knows it could sell for 375, and then he finds a buyer that pays that, and now he profits that.
It seems like such a rare customer. How do you even find that person?
Calling, like the guy that switched to that, he's like, dude, I'm just calling nonstop. I'm cold calling all these places of leads that I got generated that are like some website he got him from, and he's just now like a robocaller. And he was gonna hire some person to just make the calls for him because all you just need is one,
Yeah.
like one hit, and you could get a pretty great payday.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I was really surprised to see that you don't need a license to wholesale.
I feel bad. So the whole
Right?
time I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I know. No, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It just maybe because we both went to Catholic school
Yeah,
or
right?
something. I don't know. I got the
In
guilt
back
in me.
of our mind, I'm guilty. I feel
Yeah.
bad the whole time. I'm like, will someone just tell the seller?
Yeah. It just seems like don't ever do that. Just hire a real estate
Right.
agent
Hire
to
a real
represent
estate
you on a commission
And
basis.
it'll be way less than what that fee is, right?
Right. Way less.
Way
And they have an incentive to get you the highest price because they're
Yes.
making a percentage.
Yes, yes. And the middleman wholesalers are getting good now. Like I've seen really tight. Like I had this one where like if she didn't go with them, then she had to pay a fee to them for like a penalty fee, even if she canceled the agreement. And it was like thousands. And I read it over. I'm like, there's literally no way around this. They already recorded a lien on your home. So I was like, well, what are we going to do here? She's like, I would rather pay that fee and not work with these terrible company anymore than let them buy my house for nothing. Because she kind of like figured it out. I was telling her
Yeah.
what happened. It's like, it's like 50-50. If I tell the client, sometimes they're like, I don't care. But then the other times they're like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, how did you not know that?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I guess you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And things can be really like bizarre. Like I would never think you could buy and sell a house from somebody without ever owning it and not have to be an agent.
And I don't think they really even disclose it because, like,
Yeah, do they have to?
they write like assignee on the contract, right? Like Joe Smith or assignee or something, or assignee,
Right.
right? Like they write that on there. So like, you see, I wrote it on there. I'm like, I know, but like, you think the random guy that owns a house who's never even know what real estate, like this is the first home they're selling, like, you didn't even know what that means?
Right. They just trust you. That's what I would
You're a
say.
smooth
Whatever.
talker, like like a shiesty guy, like trying to be cool and be relatable, and then like in the end they find out that it went down this way. Like I did a whole family, the parents died, they owned this property, the parents owned it, and there was 4 of them, they were selling, and they're like, well, I'm like, no, I think this is a wholesale deal. He didn't write a sign, but I'm telling you it's a wholesale. I could kind of get a vibe. And they're like, no, he promised us he's gonna live there, like that's why we chose him over the other investors. Like, no, she didn't. And then like it kind of progresses. And then all of a sudden I get the letter saying they're going to switch to a deal and it's going to be wholesaler, sell it to someone else. I tell the clients, they're like devastated. They were like, oh, that guy lied to us. I'm like, yeah, because he's getting like $45,000 more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's
The tricky thing in our industry, and it's becoming more prevalent, I would say.
yeah. Well, people think they don't need agents as much.
Yes.
And then why do I need an attorney? I can just it's just like selling a
Yeah.
car or something like that. And in a lot of cases it is.
Sure.
But in probably just as many, if not more cases.
Like if you know what you're doing, I feel like you can do it. Like if you have the expertise, you've done this a bunch of times, you can probably like maneuver your ways around, right? But if you're like first time selling, first time buying, like you have no idea.
No, right.
People are there waiting to rip you off. And it's sometimes you feel like it's like you think this guy's from your own culture and you think that guy's going to help you out. He's probably the one that's going to steal from you the most.
Yeah, because you talk your language.
Yeah, you speak your language. You're like, oh, this guy was just like me. And I'm like, nah, he ain't.
It's like that too with like doing renovation work, because like you always want to give people like the most information you can and be like as honest as you can.
Sure.
And then like a lot of guys or like other companies, I know they'll like tell you what they think it'll be, but then you're like agreeing to these rates,
Yeah.
and it's like, and they're like, oh well, we didn't. Well, this is what we thought, and it's
Yeah.
like double,
Yeah.
or it's like, and that's like when you're working with like big outfits,
'Cause
you're
you
doing
do
a.
flips yourself, or have you done them?
I've been involved in flips, but I do
Okay.
a lot of renovation work,
Okay.
customer work.
Okay.
Um, so that's mainly, well, it's not mainly, it's about half of what I try to spend my time doing.
Okay.
And I like to do it because I know what to do,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
that's the other thing too. Like if you're like kind of handy and savvy and you understand things in like a professional way, you might be able to like do your own renovation,
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
like you
Yeah.
might. So it's kind of like it's hard because like so many guys, I like go to their house and I'm like, why are you not doing this? And I don't want to be rude or like not, you know, like I'm not trying to discredit what I
Yeah.
do by any means. But a lot of people have the wherewithal. Like I probably would have the wherewithal to purchase something without an attorney. Oh, I probably wouldn't though, you know.
Sure. I mean, I got guys that happen, you know, like they do so much. I'm like, they don't even need me. I mean, I know they're putting me on as a formality to have me, but like this guy's done his 19th property, you know, like kind of probably knows how the game works.
Yeah, where things are at.
Yeah.
I think it's always good to kind of follow the.
Yeah, protocol. And honestly, it helps. Like sometimes, like it literally happened to me today. Like I was on a deal, then the client was like, you know what? The agent tried to push for me. The client had their own attorney. So I got an email today. They're like, wait a minute. I thought Anthony Panzica was the attorney for the buyer. And they're like, no, it's this person. He's like, the only reason I took your guy's offer is because I saw my name. He emailed me and told me that. I only took your offer because it was your name. If I knew it was this other person's name, I would never have taken that deal. I'm like, oh, it's pretty good for me. Because they know I'm going to get like work together to get the deal closed. Whereas the other attorney has a reputation that they're going to work together to maybe cancel the deal or cause a lot of trouble. And people don't really want to work with people that are like that.
Yeah.
So I think that helps me because it keeps a good name for me, you know?
Yeah. It's stressful too. Like, and I'm going to bring it back to like construction, selling homes, like all
Yeah.
that stuff. Well, what needs to be done? What work can we do?
Yeah.
And then like, if you don't know and all of a sudden, you know, you're like, someone says, well, there's a crack in the foundation and there's like a leak. And if this attorney is like a spaz
Yeah.
and doesn't know anything about construction
Yeah.
and thinks that there's like structural issues
Yeah.
because you have a little water coming in,
Yeah. Killing the deal.
you're killing the
Yeah.
deal.
Inspectors do that a lot too. They put the fear of everything into that buyer. And the buyer comes to me, he's like, my inspector said this. I'm like, well, what did you think? It's an older home. Like, there's some things you got to do, but it's not like someone's going to buy this, right? But you can't be asking for $80,000 credits. Like, we might as well just cancel the deal, you know?
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah. They get all worked
Yeah.
up.
I'm like, the credits are like a few thousand. Like, they're not even close. Like, see if they'll come to 70. I'm like, that's not even. No. And then I got to send the letter. I got to call the lawyer. Like, listen, I'm going to send you a ridiculous request. Just, we're going to cancel. I'm like, I know, but at least I'm not canceling it. You'll cancel it. You know, I have to do my part, you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had a situation one time where we were doing a flip and the buyers, you know, they were like asking for all this stuff. And I'm like, well, we have final inspections. Those are passed.
Yeah.
And like, that's all we're going to provide.
Sure.
And then they FOIA requested like all of the work and everything, which is fine. I
Yeah.
mean, we do everything to code.
Yeah. Was
That's why-
Chicago or?
This is Oak Park,
Okay.
which is great.
Yeah.
Like I love Oak Park
Yeah.
as a town, and like the village is easy to work with.
Sure.
Everything's online,
Mhm.
and it's always different. Every municipality is
Yeah,
100% different.
Everyone.
Did you have to deal with municipality things?
Yeah, because like I talked to some guy who was like making apps, and he's like, this is so ridiculous how your guys' industry is. He's like, I'm gonna streamline this whole thing. I'm gonna get it on an app. I'm gonna sell the app. I'm gonna kill it in real estate. I'm like, okay, so when you got Berwyn, you got Cicero, and you got Bellwood, and you got Schaumburg, and you got Chicago, like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna tell them to conform to your app? No one cares about your app. And he was like, I shot his dreams down in
Yeah.
one moment. I'm like,
Yeah.
every town's different.
Yeah, it's a good thing you did that.
Yeah, because he was like, I'm gonna develop all this stuff. Like, you ain't gonna develop nothing.
Not that people are going to use.
Yeah.
I mean, you might, but yeah, there's no.
The towns all do what they want.
Yeah,
You got to become friendly. Like, you know people in Oak Park, it helps. I know a lot of people in Berwyn. I know a lot of the inspectors in the city. It helps. Like, it really helps.
Yeah, it helps to know. And in a renovation and a different stuff, it's like, or like a rehab, or if you're just fixing up a property, like what gets to be grandfathered in.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's up to them. It's
For
really hard.
sure.
I mean, you buy a building, there's some codes that are like gone.
Like, it applied when I bought it, but now it doesn't.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting a ticket, even though when I bought it, it passed, and now it's failing. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Well, a lot of people, they won't value, like, if they don't require you to bring it up to code, like when you purchase it, when you renovate it, I mean, it just depends. Like sometimes, like, all right, if I'm doing the kitchen, do I have to upgrade the electrical panel? Well, some people will say, yeah, it's attached or whatever. They say, well, you don't have to upgrade the whole panel, but we want the brick. There's like, it just depends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so, and then you have customers and they have to trust you.
Yeah.
And it's hard to trust someone that you're giving money to.
Yeah. And you don't even know.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, you have to take people kind of at their word. That's why I always like to work with people that you have a good relationship with, because that's what it's about.
For sure. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, you're going to have their back, they'll have your back. You're trying to make that relationship, that bond. And so that's why I think I get a lot of repeat business myself, because people know, like, I'll do whatever to make sure it gets fixed,
Yeah. Yeah, but I was saying once these buyers, they like FOIA requested, and like the attorney started asking all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like we wanted to sell, like, and I was just like, listen, because I've done a lot more customer work, and I was like, I don't like them as a customer. Like I don't want to sell to them.
Yeah.
Like they were both attorneys,
It's always rough.
which would mean if they had any issues with anything, it would be very easy for them to like file something,
For sure.
and whether we were responsible or not, that would have to be decided. And I didn't want to have to deal with any of that.
Yeah.
Like we know what we did. We put out a beautiful product.
Sure.
All the inspections are passed.
Yeah.
We got our certificates. So we didn't. And we waited, and we got much more to a couple from California.
It's always like meant to be. Like sometimes clients get so upset the deal doesn't work out. I'm like, guys, trust me. I'm like, there's a reason this didn't work out. Like, I promise you'll find something else. And then always at the close, they're like, oh, thank God I didn't get that first one. I'm like, yeah, I know, because don't force it,
Yeah. Yeah.
Good you didn't sell to those guys.
Yeah. I thought so. I think like probably like your COVID, or not your COVID, but your 2008 times.
Yeah.
It kind of like there's certain moments where you're like in the mix and you get like put through the ringer.
Yeah.
You're like exposed to like all sides of what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
And then it really guides you later on, because you have like all of this like.
Yeah, you don't know what you're doing when you're starting, Like, first time I went to closing, they put all those papers in front of me. I'm like, and you guys expect me to know all these papers? So, like, that went really bad. Like, everyone had to, like, I was like, wow, why did I come to this deal? Why did my dad suggest I would be ready for this? He's an attorney too. So I was like, oh, he probably was like, oh, this will be an easy thing. But if you don't know anything, it's not an easy thing. So next closing, I was like, I'm going to get him with law. I'm like, here's a deed. This one's got 3 past covenants and 3 future covenants. And the people are looking at me like, yo, like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, don't talk like a lawyer. Got it. Got it. So it took me a while, but now I got like a really good like explanation flow,
Yeah.
So I hit things really well. But it comes with time. Like you just said in your case, right? Like that first deal you're doing, you're kind of just still feeling it out,
Yeah, you got to see. It's like when to push and when to pull. It's like it could be a sensitive thing sometimes, for some people, especially like we were talking about before, like somebody passed away. A lot of sales are because someone passed away, right? And then, you
got to relate a lot. Like I think that's one of the bigger things too. Like you could be dealing with like a lot of different demographics and geographics. Like I have a lot of Hispanic clients, and there's an Italian client, and there's like Catholics client, Muslim clients, Middle Eastern clients, like. So you got to be able to relate to all these different groups. And I feel like when I walk in, I have to try to like be that personable, like right away. Yeah. So make people feel comfortable, and then try to relate. Like, they're like, I'm very Catholic. I'm like, I went to Catholic school my whole life. Like I play soccer. I'm like, I still play soccer now. So I try to bond a little bit, right? And they feel more comfortable, and then makes them a little more tense, because a lot of times the first time buyers are very nervous sitting at a table.
Yeah.
Where the hell am I even at? random title company. What the hell is this place? You know?
Why are we
Why
here?
are we here? So you're gonna try to like calm people's nerves and try to like get in quickly, um, and just find some key grounds, you know, like we
Yeah.
can relate to.
Commonalities.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like it helps. Sometimes Spanish people would be like, you're Spanish, Panzica. I'm like, no, just because you said it like that doesn't make it Spanish. I'm like, I'm Italian, you know.
Panzica, you're
Yeah,
Spanish.
I know. I'm like, it's funny. So
You probably pass for a lot of ethnicities,
yeah,
though.
so a
Now
lot
that
of
you say that,
so a lot of Middle Eastern people think they'll be like, you're Chaldean, right? I'm like, I don't even know what the hell that is. What is this?
yeah, I
So,
don't know what that is
yeah,
either.
like a diet, like a Middle Eastern guy is like a Syrian or something, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, no, like my mom's born in like Sicily, right? Like Italy. Like I guess Sicily was like conquered by all these different countries, so maybe that helps
Yeah.
the mix of me. But
You might actually be very
yeah, it might
mixed.
be a lot of different things, you know.
You're doing the 23andMe.
Yeah, I got to do that. But yeah, like
Yeah.
kind of always relating to people is always kind of always tell people like, how do you keep going? I'm like, just be open, you know.
Yeah.
Don't be like, I only work with like my culture. I only work with Italians. And be like, when am I gonna have like no business? Right? It's a big city, you know.
Yeah.
So
It's funny you say that about like business, but it's just like it's about that with like life too.
yeah, for sure.
Like so many people like
Only hang out with, you know.
or like they don't just like when you walk in a room, like they don't look at you or say hello. And it's not because they're bad people.
Yeah,
It's just some, like in a, you get like, like if you don't do that in a lot
Yeah.
of rooms, it might not happen. And then there's
Yeah.
like a weird vibe.
yeah,
But as soon as you do that and you're like, I'm the whatever I am, and
Yeah.
it helps people feel more comfortable.
yeah.
Like that's not just like in a strange
But
office.
I feel like it's not like as common as it should be. Like we live in Chicago, it's a pretty diverse city, right? So
Yeah.
it's like I had a Christmas party. I try to do one like every year, sometimes. And I had this title company rep come, and then she was like, you got all these different like people here. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like there's like Black, Middle Eastern, Hispanic, Italian, like South American. Like you got like a big array. I'm like, well, I mean, we live in Chicago. She's like, but no, but most attorneys I go to, they're like, there's a Polish attorney, it's only Polish people there. It's like a African American attorney, it's only Black people there. If it's Spanish, I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, why? Like,
Yeah.
why? So I try to like be open to a lot, you know?
Yeah.
It
Well,
helps.
yeah. I would say you need to be, but you don't. A lot of people, they just
Yeah, they
stick to a
don't.
small
Yeah.
and they don't grow. And that's fine.
You could do what you like, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like open for business. Everyone got money. Let's go.
Yeah.
I could care less about all the other stuff. But that helps.
Yeah. So did you start right out of, when did you graduate?
07 in the fall. So then the bar exam was in February of '08. So then took that, no clue, somehow passed. I was like, all right. And I was
Yeah,
sworn in
okay.
and yeah,
I was
no
just
clue.
sure
I
you-
was like, I studied like crazy. And I took the test. I'm like, I don't even know what happened. And then I passed. So May of '08 was like my first like time I could be like a lawyer, which was like the worst time ever in real estate. Like everything's foreclosing. I'm like,
The world's falling
girls
apart.
falling apart. There's
You
me,
get-
25 years old, like
Yeah.
ready to go.
You know what though? I've had a few people on here that have had to take high level exams, and they all say that.
Yeah,
They were like, don't know how they passed. They're like, I'm not sure,
like
I studied and studied and studied.
yeah,
And then when I looked at it, I was like, I hadn't, no way this is going to work.
yeah, because you like it's almost like so much knowledge you got, and then you're like, I almost could go to the bathroom and be like, all right, look in the mirror, like, all right, you know this. Like, you have to like psych yourself up for it. Like, go back in there, take this one, sit down, think it through. Don't be like overwhelmed because it's very overwhelming. You get a certain amount of time, and
Yeah.
you gotta like finish each section in a certain amount of time. But like, you have so much in your mind, it's like kind of overwhelming because it's like, all right, what topic is this? Okay, this is on contracts. What about contracts? All right, this section. What about this section? All right, this subsection on this subsection. Oh, okay, that's what they're asking. So you have to like kind of filter through a lot quickly.
Yeah.
So
How many questions is it?
It was like 200 multiple choice, and I think like 10 essays. It's like
You-
2 days.
Do you get just a pass fail, or do you get
Pass,
to
fail.
know?
I kind of wanted to like,
Do you want to know?
kind of wanted to know, and they were like, "Dude, what do you care? You got the pass." I'm like, I know, but like, was it like a D or was it like a B? Like, it's like it doesn't matter. You passed. Think about all the people that didn't. I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Do you take a practice test?
Yeah, there was like those review courses I did.
Yeah.
So,
How'd you do on that? That'll give you your
Somewhat okay, but you're kind of like in a different setting, because it's like you can take more time. Like it was practice courses, but like you knew it wasn't the real game, so it's kind of like you weren't. I don't
yeah.
know,
It's not the same
not
deal.
the same. And the questions are all going to be somewhat similar but different, so you're kind of like that's the more yeah. Forget about all those days because it's really that was really stressful.
You have to do like
So
continuing
yeah, every
education
2 years we got to do like 36 hours, but it's more listening to content. There's no exams, so it's
anymore.
just listening to updates and laws and like yeah,
Does the bar let you practice any type of law and you just chose real estate
yeah.
because you want to stay sane?
Yeah, like I was kind of thinking I was be like sports agent. I was like, all right, I'm gonna represent like Derrick Rose, represent all these guys, right? I'm like coming out like, oh yeah, but who the hell do I know, And my father
you're-
was a real estate
And you're
attorney.
Catholic.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going
My,
to work against you
my
in the
father's a
real.
real estate attorney, so I was like, oh well, he's kind of did all right. So let me figure I could do this. But yeah, at some point you got to figure all this on your own because like, I mean, your dad's not coming into the closings with you.
Right.
It was just me. I would step out on the call and be like, oh, hold on one second. Be like, Dad, what do I do?
Yeah.
But obviously that doesn't happen much anymore. So,
Well, that's good to have
yeah,
that behind
yeah,
you.
it's been a great resource because he's got a good name in the industry too. So a lot of times it helps me. They'll be like, I didn't even know there was a son. Where's your dad? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. We have the same name. So yeah.
I thought your father was
Yeah.
showing up.
Like, who the hell are you? Is Tony coming? I'm like, no, I'm Anthony Panzica too. Yeah.
You guys look alike. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously he's much older. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think people would confuse you two at
Yeah,
this
now,
point.
yeah. My dad will pick up the call. He's like, you want the old guy or the young guy? He's like, I got AOL. He's got Gmail. Do you know which one? I'm like, "Oh, okay.
I got AOL.
Yeah, like that's an old email. So yeah.
Well, sports agent.
Yeah, it was like a thought. But then like world's crashing. I was like, all right, let me just. And then short sales literally got thrown in my lap within like days of being like the lawyer.
Yeah.
I had to like look it up. I didn't know anything, but then I kind of figured that out and I kind of went with it right away, like quick. I'm doing seminars at 25 years old to real estate agents who are probably in their 30s or 40s. And they're seeing me and they're probably like, who the fuck is this guy? Right. And then there's me like giving literally seminars to these guys. And I work with some of those agents still to this day. So
That you
that's
gave
kinda
seminars to?
crazy. Like we talk about it. I'll be like, yo, it was like a first deal I ever closed with your deal. And I still doing deals with some of those guys now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
You've been doing seminars that long? Because you said you.
I got a couple now that I'm doing. That was on short sale topics. Now I talk about like homeowners exemptions in Cook County, assessed values. Kind of a thing is like in DuPage and Will and Lake, like you kind of almost like I bought in DuPage. I didn't do anything. I have a homeowners exemption. They just kind of like give it to you, I think. Whereas in Cook, it's like unless you file for the form, like they take it away. So like nobody knows. So I go back now and check all my past clients, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe like all these people are missing this. And I kind of spent a good time explaining it, but the people that I remember, like 2 years later, they got to go on the assessor's office website and file for a discount. And if they don't, the Cook County's not reminding them. So people are missing out on thousands and thousands of savings.
So on the homeowners assessment, you
Exemption.
can exemption.
Yeah.
The assessment is what it is, and then they have an exemption that decreases
Yeah.
the
for living
assessment.
there. Yeah.
And it has nothing to do. It's just you can just
Because you
that.
live there.
just because you live
Yeah.
there.
And every city's different. Like Chicago's is like $700. I think Berwyn's like 1,100. Like every town will be, Oak Park might be in the 900. But like if you don't know about it or you forget to do it, no one's going to come back and be like, hey, you could get some money back. And the county will send you a check back for the missing years. So if you're missing 4 years, $1,000 a year, you get a check from Cook County for $4,000.
So if you look up, because you can look up your history,
Yes.
and far enough back there was an exemption
Yeah.
for obviously not a senior exemption. It
Yeah.
would just be a regular homeowner's exemption.
Mhm.
If you look back and there's anywhere further enough back in the history in Cook, you can write in and there's a good chance or
Now they-
file
4 years they'll go back.
4
So
years.
Right now, a few months ago, it was 5 years. They were letting you do 19, but now they took 19 off the board. So now it's 20 to 20, 21, 22, and 23. You can get the money back.
So you can get it back. What if the exemption's 10 years back? Does that not
No.
matter?
Yeah, they'll only do the most 4. So you
So-
can apply for the 4.
So as long as the exemption's within the last 5 years, you can apply
Yeah.
for the last 4.
So I check all.
And if you let it go past that, it expires then,
well, then
kind
they'll
of?
just keep moving it up. Right now you can file for 20, 21, 22, and 23, but next year they'll take away 20s and then they'll put 21, 22, 23, 24. So they just keep moving it along.
Okay.
They won't let you go back like 10 years.
If you find something back 10 years, if you can't
Screw.
get paid back, are you still more likely to get it reinstated?
You have to file for those 4 recent ones and then they'll give you those. But the 10 years, 8 years, 9 years, those are kind of
Okay, but it's
SOL.
not like absolved where like now you can't get that
No,
exemption anymore.
You can, if you're still have proof of residency, they want to see your ID showing you live there.
Okay.
But a lot of people I represent are first time homebuyers. A lot of real estate agents work with first time homebuyers, but like no one is reminding the clients 2 years from now, you're going to have to go to this website and fill out. And even if you do, it's still on the homeowner, right? They don't know. It's not their
No.
field.
If you buy it and it has an exemption,
It will fall off in a year or two after because the county just
automatically.
assumes.
Even in DuPage
In DuPage,
on a sale?
I feel like DuPage, they just like assume you're a homeowner. I feel like they actually look at the documents and see it's not like a rider attached saying it's a rental property, right? Like they see it's like a primary residence, I believe.
Yeah.
And because I didn't fill out anything in DuPage and I just got it, right? Whereas in Cook, like that property I owned, like I had to file for the homeowner exemption. Otherwise, I would not have received it. So that's like a little trick. So when I do these seminars, I tell everybody, I'm like, are you going back and checking all your past clients? Why would I do that? I'm like, give me an address. So I'll be like on the screen, right? I type in the address. I'm like, look, you can see they bought it in 21 and now they're missing 23, 22, and 23's exemption. So do you think this is a good idea as a real estate agent to reach out to that client? Well, why would I want to do that? Well, number one, you get to go back in front of them. Number two, you're going to get them money for no reason at all. And number three, maybe they're like, hey, I was actually thinking about buying. So now you just created value, right, for no reason. And they're looking at it like, wow, this guy's great. I'm going to get a check just because they reached out to me. And there's forms really not that hard. It's like 3 pages. Like, I lived there at this time. Here's my ID. I've been here the whole time. And Cook County mails you a check.
Yeah.
So no one knows about this. So
Well, they should.
they should.
They
So,
will now.
Yeah. At closings, I like kind of bring that up. I'm like, hey, by any chance you got like your prior home you came from? Yeah. Can you check that? I check it. No exemption. Like,
But I'm curious still to know, and maybe you've already answered it, but like upon the sale, does it change the exemption?
like the Cook County just sees a sale takes place and they just assume Anthony Panzica is an investor or Joe Smith is an investor.
But in DuPage, if you have an exemption, they'll carry that over.
It seems like it. And all
Okay.
the ones I've seen,
I
I've
gotcha.
yet to see them. I mean, it probably's happened, but like I feel like they're more friendlier to providing the exemption than Cook County is.
They're probably looking to because
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but exemptions are, I mean, it's whatever, $700-800 sometimes,
yeah,
But hey, why not? Right?
once a year, twice a year.
Once a year, they'll take it off your bills. If your bill's like 10 grand, that'll be 9,200 or something, right?
Yeah.
We're all trying to get lower taxes anyways.
Yeah.
So it lowers your mortgage payment, right? So it's always kind of like a thing. I always feel like I gotta like get the word out. Cook
Yeah.
County will probably hate me, but who cares,
Well, they have their policies for
Yeah.
whatever reasons.
Yeah.
What other exemptions are there?
Homeowner, senior, and senior freeze. The freeze is usually the bigger one, 65 and lower income.
Why do you get a homeowner's exemption? What does that even mean?
You just live there.
How are you not? Shouldn't everybody have a homeowner's
Not
exemption?
a rental. Your rental property won't get it. But if you're living there, you get it.
So if I live in my house, I should when I look up my PIN number,
Yeah.
it should say homeowner's
Is
exemption.
it DuPage or Cook?
DuPage.
Okay.
I live here.
You should
in
have
Addis.
it. Okay. You should have it. But in case you don't, right, it's good to check. But any clients you close in Cook, like almost to like guaranteed a check. Like when I did this like seminar, I like posted or I tell them and all, and then people reach back out to me. They're like, Anthony, I was blown away how many of my past clients are not getting it.
How easy is it to look up your PIN?
Pretty easy. On the Cook County, it's like super easy. It's like the portal. So you just Google like Cook County portal and then the link's there. You just type in any address and you could see all the exemptions. And I was taking it a step further. I was like, it'd be great because I represented a client in a building. He bought a unit and I just was checking other units in the building. I'm like, man, this whole building is missing exemptions. So I was like, what if I sent a mailer out to like all, I don't know, 100 people that live in this building and be like, hey, like I'm your local attorney. I just represented a client buying in here. I noticed you guys are missing this exemption.
Yeah.
You want to reach out to me, like I'll help you get some money, and maybe if you're ever in the position of selling, you would think of me. So I sent that out. I got a few people that actually reached out to me, and they're like, why are you doing this? I'm like, Cook County, am I right? Like get you some money. Like how come my lawyer and my attorney didn't tell you, or my real estate agent? I'm like, well, they probably just they did, but you have to remember 2 years later, and or maybe they didn't, or they did. But I'm like, whatever, you're here now, so like you can get a check for these 3 years you missed, plus a lower mortgage payment, and then plus lower taxes going forward. And they're like, wow, this is amazing. How much for all this? I'm like, nothing. I was just doing this as like a side thing in the slowdown times of winter to try to like drum up some maybe leads,
Work. Yeah.
business, you know?
Yeah.
And then those people are like, man, when I sell, I'm going to use you. And I was like, that's why I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I told this to some real estate agents. They're like, I could do this on any home. I'm like, and then my brother was like, well, don't tell everyone about this. I'm like, you know how big Cook County is, Joe? I'm like, there's always like Country Club Hills, like Skokie, right? Like, do you know how many properties, how many buildings you could check? I'm like, yeah. So I still think that's a good idea as like a real estate agent, right? You're like farming and you're like, I know this building so well in Oak Park. I'm going to go check all the unit owners there. And you'll check, it's at least 40-50% at every building I've ever seen. How many people are not getting exemptions? You hit up those people and you could like maybe get your foot in the door on some properties.
For sure.
So I feel like it's a good idea.
That's a great idea. So those are the three: senior freeze. What's senior freeze and
Senior just being 65, you get a discount. So similar to owning, you just get a discount because you're a homeowner. A senior freeze. They got military ones too. Sometimes the disabled veteran exemption is like knocks your bill to nothing, depending on how much disabled. I don't know how it works, but they like assign a number to you, like a 70% disabled, 80%. So
Okay.
the veteran one is a big one. They have just like a disabled person one too, but that's usually a low amount. So it's usually the homeowner, senior, and senior freeze are the most common that I deal with.
Yeah, that homeowner one seems like
It's free, you know, fill out one piece of paper.
I don't remember seeing it.
So
I gotta look.
it's different. It's different in other counties.
Yeah.
Like DuPage, I feel like don't even push it.
Would you see it on so like you just search your county and
Yeah.
pin lookup.
Like you
Right.
pull up a website here, right? So you could
Yeah, we could fill it up.
you could type it in. Cook County property info is the Cook County one.
What about
The DuPage one's not as Cook County property info. And then just hit that. Yeah, that's it. So this, like, you could type in any address you want on that screen, and then that'll show you like
Cook County property info?
yeah, you're here, right? So now
Yep.
you type in any address you want. Like if you know any building, like you could do 655 Irving. Go to street and type in Irving. Sorry, the numbers go on the top. So like delete the Irving where you typed it, and then where it says street, type in Irving. And then where it says city, you could just type in CHI. You don't have to type in all. Just click search. This building was this was the building. Oh, click search again. Sometimes it takes a couple of clicks. Like look how many units that is. Right, so you can scroll down. You can get access to all these units, right?
Oh, this is condos.
This is condos. So you can just pick any one you want, like any number. You just click on it, right? So how I kind of can tell if it's a homeowner exemption or not. Like you see, this says the mailing address shows some Northbrook place. I'm gonna go. This is an investor, right? That guy is not living there. If it was living there, it would have listed like primary residence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it would list the mailing address there. If you back out of this one, you could try a different one. But like that's kind of like how I determined if people are getting the exemption or not. He has 0 in the middle, 0 exemptions.
Where?
Right where your person
here.
is. Because you could see where his mailing address. His property taxes are going to Northbrook. So this person probably lives in Northbrook and is renting out this unit.
Got you.
So then I would check like one after another. So it's a lot of like.
So you just look right in the middle
and see if it shows, right? But if the mailing address shows 655 Irving, then I'm like, oh, this guy's not getting it if it shows zeros.
Yeah,
and
so
he's
he
someone
lives.
I should reach out to.
I got you.
So this guy would just skip. I would not hit this guy up for any mailing because
Makes
he rents
sense.
it out.
Yeah.
So that's
Or someone pays his bills.
yeah.
Probably not.
So
Title, land, and trust, maybe.
yeah, so probably bought it cash in a trust. But that's the website in Cook County to check out. That's pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Sorry to go off.
No, that's
That's
good.
kind of like a thing that a lot of people don't know about. So tomorrow I'm doing a seminar. That's like the topic. Um,
Doing a seminar tomorrow.
yeah,
Where at? This is gonna show after your seminar.
yeah. There's a title company called Burnett Title. They work with Coldwell Banker real estate agents. So I work by chance with a few Coldwell Banker agents, and they tell like their people in the office that I do a good job. And then these guys were like, "Hey, do you mind like giving seminars to our Coldwell Banker real estate agents?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I've done a few. I've been in Skokie, or more north. Sorry, it's like Glenview, I think.
Okay.
And then I did the one in by Lincoln Park, and now I'm doing the one in Oak Brook tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So
That's
yeah,
close.
yeah, that's
right?
closer. So it's kind of I'm like wherever I go. So it's nice.
Is that what the seminar is gonna be on?
Yeah, assess values, and then the homeowners exemptions thing that people forget about, and like property tax credits. It's a little bit much to get into, but like on this county and in Cook County, they reassess properties every 3 years, so you get like hit up with big increases sometimes. And the south suburbs just got really hit bad last summer. Chicago's going to be this summer, so any home in Chicago is probably going to increase. So if you go to the assessor's office website, you can see how much they're projecting it to increase by. So if you write up
That's
a contract,
posted now.
that's posted
When did it post?
usually in the start of the year. So like in January, February, they would show the assessed values. So if you're buying a home, when you write an offer and you just put like 100% tax credit or something, that's fine. But like what I have to do is check to see what the assessor's website shows. Because if that website shows the value is being taxed at 200 and now it's going to be taxed at 400, that's doubling the bill. So the bill's $5,000. Now the bill's going to be 10. I don't want 100% of $5,000. I
Right.
want a $10,000 credit.
Right. You went 200%.
I want 200%, but no one's going to give me that. So I have to ask them to hold back money or something, right? So I kind of been explaining that to some agents, and every agent's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, you don't really need to know this, but like as the attorney, I got it. Yeah, but I should know that." I'm like, "Yeah, you should know this because this is like this is what we're dealing with every day. You're writing 100 for what? Why are you writing 100?" Well,
Yeah.
my office told me to write 110 for Chicago. I'm like, "Yeah, that's true, but like, did you know it was reassessment year? Did you know the property value doubled? You know that your 110% is going to be nothing. Your client's going to call you when the bill comes out and be like, why did I get screwed on this taxes? And all because you didn't check one website." So that usually everyone's like, how come my attorney doesn't know that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm just trying to tell you guys.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a thing.
Yeah. Having the taxes go up, especially after you purchase something, if you don't know that's coming, it's
Hard. How you
part of the
dealing with it?
value. It's part of the evaluation.
Yes.
It's part of the. Does that play a role in your assessed value?
So the best I could do is get the credit higher. So like last year, the south suburbs got hit so hard. The example I use is some property in Markham where I represented this guy and I saw it. It was doubling. His bill was like 5. Now his bill is going to go to 10. It's like a $200,000 property in Markham. Why is the tax bill 10 grand? What do they got? What do they got in Markham that they're paying $10,000 a year in taxes? So anyways, at the closing, I got him a tax credit based on the higher number. So he got like huge credit, and like he was getting all this money back now. And he was like, oh boy, I'm going to go do this and this. I'm like, no, you're going to do nothing. I got you that credit because in case the bill comes out more, you'll be okay. Right. But please don't spend that money. Please.
That's for
Right.
your taxes.
Yeah, that's for your taxes. Please don't spend that money. So bill comes out, he's good, he pays that taxes, but he's like, well, how am I going to afford this going forward? I'm like, that part I can't help you with. The only part I could have helped you with is get you more money at closing so the seller covers their prorated correct amount. You're dealing with a new tax bill now. I was kind of telling you that, like, I don't know what to do about that.
So that does play a role when you're thinking about assessing the value of a property, right?
Yeah.
Because if you, for yourself or for, a client you're representing,
Yeah.
if they come to you before they go under contract.
Pretty rare. Usually I get them when they're already under contract.
But anyone that's a seasoned buyer,
Yeah.
they know about that. But if
Sure.
they're not, and there's a lot of people that are not, and they want to buy real estate for the first
Yes.
time, and they're not an attorney,
Yes.
and
They
then
don't know.
because this last year taxes they went
lot.
up.
And wait till you see Chicago this year. It's going to be probably why they're delaying the tax bill. They could avoid getting yelled at for a
Well,
little bit.
I was thinking the rate's so low as an excuse. Now they gave you this huge tax hike.
Yeah.
Now they brought the rate up. They can't hike it again.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. South suburbs got killed last year with increases in assessed values. So now it's Chicago's year. So there's like a map. It's like the west and then the south, that's 1 year. Then Chicago's the next year. Then the northwest is the next year. So it's like 1, 2, 3. So if you
Okay.
ever look at tax bills in Cook County, you'll always see groupings like 3 grand, 31, 32 reassessment year. Now the bill goes to 5. Now it's 5, 52, 53 reassessment year. Now it goes to 7. So it kind of like moves in threes.
Okay.
Whereas in DuPage, they just screw us every year. They'd be like, we don't have as many homes. We're just reassessing you every year. So taxes keep going up every year. But in Cook, they leave you alone for a few years and
Yeah.
they get you when it reassesses
On the third.
in the third year. So you kind of start seeing some of this stuff. And it just kind of why I like to do the seminars is just to let people know. So it's kind of like more, it should be common knowledge in our industry, and it's not.
Does the assessed value get changed if there's a sale without that reassessment?
Sometimes, but not really, because that's supposed to be in play for 3 years. So like sometimes you'll even see it, like people will be like, I got to appeal. I heard about appealing. I should appeal. I'm like, yeah, but the assessor's website shows your home is 300,000. We're paying 5 today. What are you going to appeal? Well, I was told I got to appeal. I'm like, yeah, but you're going to alert them to that you just paid more. If anything, your taxes will go up. Like, let's say when they reassess it again and see what that value comes back at. So wait,
Yeah.
because if you just paid higher than the value, there's your evidence to show that they should be taxing you more.
The assessed value is not always the sale price, though.
No,
it's like
it's always less.
way less.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's way. I guess it
Yeah.
depends where you're
Depends, yeah. But you'll see other people too. Like I keep seeing DeSantis in Florida, like the governor or senator, whatever he is. But he's keeps talking about like, why are we even getting taxed? Like we're being taxed on unrealized gains. Like our taxes go up every year, but did we make more? Like did we get any money in our bank account because our taxes keep going up? So if you think about it that way, it's like, yeah, why are we paying these crazy taxes every year going up? We should, if there's one at all, it should be when you sell, right? Because now I realize gain,
at. Right.
not like 2020 and 21 and 22 and 23. I'm just owning. Why are my taxes keep going up every year? So I was like, yeah, he was saying like we should abolish property taxes in Florida. I was like, yeah, bring that over here.
Yeah. Well, the
Probably
money's
not.
got to come from
Somewhere.
Yeah.
So like we're just charging other things. We'll just move money around to cover something. So
right.
I was like, all right, well, he wants to do it. So see what they do there.
Property owners, they take a big hit.
Yeah. It just keeps going up and up. So Illinois introduced some bill in the Senate. I posted it online like in the winter in like February or something. It said if you owned your home for 25 years, then they would eliminate your taxes. Trying to keep people to stay
in Illinois.
25 years owning a home is either 25 or 30 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Like that'd be like our parents' house, like
right.
they never sold and they just have kept that home that whole time. Now their tax bill goes to zero. So
that would be nice.
It'd be pretty great because our home in Addison, my mom and dad got that in 94. So I was like, hey, that's
a possibility.
That's a possibility, So
do you think anything's gonna change? Like
I don't know. The state's so broke, right? Like they always need money. I think we're like the second highest taxed state, like New Jersey and then Illinois.
We pay a lot of taxes.
Property taxes are second highest, I think.
I wonder why.
Like, where's all the money go? Like pensions. Because I talked to I forgot. I had a closing with a guy who was on the attorney also worked for the county and determining values and all these assessed values and tax rates and stuff. And he said the amount of money that's paid out in pensions in Illinois is like crazy.
Yeah.
So how are you going to cover all that?
Well, you know what? You don't really think about it. You got a big working class in Illinois. You don't have movies.
No.
You don't have like a ton of money coming in from selling dreams. You don't have like fashion like New York. That's like you get more money going into one place than maybe you quote unquote should per capita for the work because you're paying a premium for culture.
Yeah.
And in Illinois and in Chicago, people they don't have it. We don't have that industry.
Yeah.
So you had probably a lot of working people, a lot of unions that are all kind of not really what they used to be.
So the guy's trick to me to get our property taxes down, he said it like just so matter of fact. He's like, people gotta die. I'm like, oh, what? He's like, because the older the people, they may have like 2-3 pensions, and they're getting all that from the county or from the state. And I'm like, that's your solution? Like, we're in trouble.
Are we waiting it out, or
Yeah,
what are we
that's what
doing?
he was talking. That's how he was
waiting it
acting.
out. All right, good.
He's like, we're waiting it out.
It's in Chicago. Maybe they.
I know. I was like, yeah. I'm like, is there any? Can you give me a year? Are you projecting like 5 years? But he was saying it jokingly, but also wasn't. That's interesting.
I saw something about Mayor Daley selling all the parking.
Oh yeah, what a
Who
terrible
did they
deal
sell
that
it to?
was.
Did they sell it to China?
Middle Eastern
Middle
thing or
East?
something. It's like $1 billion or some crazy number like this, which was in '08 or '09 or something. They were like super broke, but the amount of money that's made on those parking things paid that back in like a couple years.
Dude, there's so much. And then if we use the streets, we have to pay rent.
Yeah, it's
We have
till
to,
like 2075 or something too. Like it was like an 80-year deal. I'm like,
wow.
what a terrible deal that was. Like, how broke was the city at that
Yeah.
time to make that agreement?
How does that work? I don't under, how does, well, I guess everybody operates with a large amount of debt. Most people,
Yeah,
which it's kind of weird because,
the
you
whole
ha-
country does.
yeah,
Yeah, we're like super bankrupt, right?
the whole world is.
Yeah,
Like, who is not?
who has money? Yeah,
Yeah. Like, it's kind of funny because the concept of money is very different.
yeah,
It's like a pile of goods
yeah.
that you don't, and if you look at it like in debt, it's like you don't have it, but it really,
Yeah.
you got to look at it different.
Yeah, yeah,
Like Elon Musk, however he looks at it. Maybe we all need a little Asperger's
yeah.
and we can,
I was at a closing last week, and everyone's like, "Do you see what's going on with Trump and Elon?" I'm like, "No, aren't they like friends?" They're like, "Look online." I was like, "What the hell?"
yeah, that's what
So-
I thought. And then they were,
Yeah, fighting like crap. I'm like, when did this happen?
yeah, that's no
Oh,
good.
Yeah,
What happened to Doge? I loved it. I don't
He
know why.
uncovered too much stuff, I assume, and people got mad. So
But Donald Trump was in the Epstein cases,
yeah, that's what
That's
he
what he's-
posted too.
but they don't have any proof, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Well, I
or
guess they don't
they're
have
not
any
gonna
proof.
Release it. So yeah, that was a crazy. I don't know. See what happens, but I thought that was going well.
Do you think that the world is always this crazy, or do you think we're just old enough to like actually appreciate it?
Yeah, I feel that part, the second part, because like this stuff was always going on, right? Like we were just goofing around being kids, and then there wasn't as much exposure, right? Like something happened, right? There was no internet. Like, I try to tell my kids sometimes, I'm like, you think this was all, iPhones didn't even come out till like '07 or something, right? Like we didn't even have internet in school, like in the '90s, you know, like
Right.
there was nothing.
We
So
had
like,
Mavis Beacon, Math
like
Blaster.
AOL, like
Yeah.
dial up. So like the time frame now to get information is like crazy fast. So I feel like back then it was probably all happening, but like no one would ever know,
Yeah.
you know?
Wow, that has me. Are you worried? Or well, maybe not worried. But AI is like it's taking away the things we didn't think it would be able to
Yeah.
take away.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for you?
Yeah, like people have been asking me that too. Like, when it replace everything, I'm like, I think it replaces potentially everything, right? But I don't think it would get to that point. And at least not at the current set, because like people still go to see people. You know, like we still want people. I think, right? Like to have that connection, to have that thing. We don't want just nothing but. So I think there'll be like a good mix of it. You know, like intermingling it.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go see my doctor, but I'm also gonna ask my ChatGPT the same question.
Yeah.
It's like a second opinion almost.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
There's hopefully that I hope
Hopefully.
you're right.
Yeah.
It's not yeah. But what about like, cuz I think about like construction and like some software where that's like it gets really good and I don't use it, but I know it's there like a couple plugins away on some certain softwares. I'm sure some people put it together where like
Yeah.
I could take a picture, I could scan, and now I can say how many 2x4s do I need, and it will tell me,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And it'll
Yeah.
lay it out. Like, what about like an attorney? Like, hey, like I want to, like,
What do I do?
is there like a boilerplate template?
Yeah, for sure. I've asked it myself.
Like, if an architect were to like review the software and like say, yes, I'll stamp this, that whatever this puts out is to the current code based on this date's blockchain,
Yeah.
whatever that means.
Yeah.
Put it on the
Yeah.
blockchain. Can he like I can do my own design and I can pay him $200 for basically like a structural plan that's stamped by a structural engineer because he has hundreds of thousands of people that are
So
able
I
to.
feel like maybe that will happen, but you'll still need that guy to sign off on it, probably,
Right.
right?
How do
So-
you be that guy?
Yeah. So I feel like the
That's
clients
the
could,
question.
sometimes I get an email from a client that I'm like, yo, this is like, there's no way a human talk like this, right? I know this person, there's no way they talk like this. So this is clearly ChatGPT. And then they send like a whole, can you review this addendum I made too? I'm like, this is such a, like, I know what ChatGPT addendums look like because I make them
Yeah.
and I've made them. So I could tell. So like, but they still ask me, you know, similar to the doctor. Like I got a physical the other day and I'm like, my mom passed actually from like having like leukemia, which she got from polycythemia, which is like a really rare blood condition you can get. So I asked the doctor when I'm doing the physical. Yeah, sorry, I don't even know if I told you, but this is a couple years ago. So I asked the doctor, I'm like, hey, I'm a little nervous about this condition. Can you like check? So he's like, it's not a big deal. You probably don't have it. I'm like, I know, but like her dad had it and like she had it. Like maybe it's a thing, you know?
Yeah.
So you're doing the blood work anyway. Can you just do the blood work? And he's like, all right. So I get the results back. I don't know. Like you get the paper, like you don't know what the hell any of this means, you know? So I ask him, like, hey, how does it look? It's fine.
It's all acronyms and numbers.
Yeah. He's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
You're good. Nothing to worry about. I'm like, yeah, but so I send it, like, hey, let me chat GTP that. I send it, they're like, full breakdown analysis. I ask it like, hey, what about polycythemia? What about this leukemia thing? Like, no, if you were going to have that, this would have been elevated. This would have been like, in like 1 second, I'm getting this full report. I was like, man, this is like, I know it's not a doctor, but at least it gave me a little bit more than like, you're fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I was like, so that I feel like was me being more reassured as like a second opinion type of thing. I know the doctor knows I'm fine too, but like, I want more detail, you know?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
I didn't get that. I don't know any of this stuff.
Well, you want to understand things.
Yeah.
What you don't know is scary.
Yeah. And I'm like, kind of a
Or can be.
thing, you know, could be a thing in my family, right? So I'm trying to weed it out. So let me know what I need to be looking for. And I was just told it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
weird.
what they, yeah.
So to see that, right? That's where I think like could be this is in 2025, right? Imagine a year from now, like 5 years from now, like what is that thing going to be able to do?
Yeah. It's going to get better.
Like crazy fast speeds too.
Well, like, so for like an attorney, let's say you do closings. Like the only thing I think like, all right, how much more can you streamline it? All right, let's think about it. Python, right? This is like a software that communicates between softwares. So you do like someone, they scan their ID and it automatically populates in the contract.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's stuff like that where you could where you could streamline it. Like, and then I guess if you created something like that, you could, if you have a large enough database, it would be only your customers, or then you would license it to other attorneys or something. Like, I don't know.
It's a weird thing because like you could ask it to do anything. Like I've just fooled around with it. I'm like, hey, can you review this condo declaration that's like 250 pages, right? And find if there's parking in it, right? I got to look through page by page. Where's the parking? It's from 1970. It's terribly scanned. I can't even barely read it. I loaded in ChatGPT. I'm like, can you find the parking section here if they can allow parking? In less than a second, page 49, section 3, part 2. I'm like, wow, that just saved me like crazy amount of time to look through this old thing that I can barely read, right? So I'm using it for things like that, right? But I'm like, that's just me scratching the surface on the capabilities of it, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, other people are probably way more using it and other things. But if you think of that, then you're like, oh, it's replacing the whole field.
Well, if you had a secretary, you'd be like, hey, I got to highlight this, right?
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure you do have a secretary.
But
You're not going to
they don't know. Yeah, they don't know. They're like, I don't know how to look on this doc.
Right.
Like,
They're not, but not ChatGPT.
I'm not the attorney.
Yeah,
ChatGPT, I've hired up.
Yeah.
Found it in like 1 second. I was like, oh man, that was pretty quick. So it's interesting. We'll see how it goes. But like COVID hit and they were like, real estate will be replaced, things going online, digital, everything. We won't even be doing closings. And then as soon as like COVID stuff still kind of subsided, guess where we're at? Right back to the closing. Because I was doing them all on Zoom. I was doing way more deals. I didn't have to drive. It was on my computer. I was Zooming with everybody, going over all the documents. I was like, this is great. But after like a year of doing that, I was like completely burned out. I was like, I want to see people. I'm not a robot. Like I want to sit across from somebody. There is a nice connection. So that's what I would think would have to hang on to. Like the human side of us requires like connections.
Yeah.
That what I would think would win, hopefully.
It seems
not
like
the robots.
The efficiency is not going to be really hard to compete with.
You know,
I mean,
quickness and
like I was fooling around and I was making like graphics for my cousin, his place, and like whoever, just for fun.
Yeah.
And I could get it to do like Christmas special with Santa Claus holding a sign with the company information, and like people are like, oh, wasn't it hard to get the letters? And I'm like, you don't need to be a genius. You just have to type it in a few ways. Like,
Sure.
and I could figure it out. And then the other thing is like, I know that if I took that and I wanted to work with just a small part to keep modifying it deeper,
Yeah.
like that's possible. I didn't do it because
Okay.
I was able to get the result I wanted like that.
Okay.
And like I was messing with it probably like a year and a half ago. When I saw that, I was like afraid.
Yeah.
I was like, is this legal? I was
Yeah.
like, is this? And then I started asking it like, because I like to draw and do stuff. I started asking it to like create things that I'd like would want to draw, which I'd have to have hours of labor into.
Yeah.
And then like it would just pop it up. I'm like, why would I bother drawing? Like it's doing what I want. Why would I
Yeah.
bother? I'm not going to bother doing that. So I didn't. And it was awesome. It's really good. It's like
stunning. Like everybody I tell, they're like questioning all these things. My uncle, right? He's older. And he was asking me all these questions. All these, I'm like, do you have ChatGPT? He's like, ChatGPT, what? I'm like, I sent it to him. He hasn't stopped asking it questions. Like he had got it Friday all weekend. He's called me Monday and he's like, this was the greatest thing. You know how many things I found out? I'm like, yeah, because it never ends. You could keep going and going and going, right? Like he was blown away by it. Said it's the greatest thing he's ever seen.
it is like undoubtedly a boom.
Yeah.
There's something definitely blowing up huge.
Yeah.
And like I've been seeing kids like kids, like it'll get on my Instagram, like, oh, I just like take short videos of other people and I like don't, and this is like what I'm making. And like some of it seems like bullshit. And then some of it, it's like, that looks real. Like
Yeah.
these kids are making like
You can't even
hundreds
tell.
of thousands of dollars
Yeah.
a month in some
Yeah.
cases
Yeah.
from just like copying and pasting and like you need views.
Yeah.
It has to be consumed.
Yeah.
That's like a thing. Digital,
That's how you're getting money.
it's a commodity now,
Yeah.
right? Media,
Yeah.
it's like it's the highest traded commodity, right? Isn't it now?
That's what we're trying to do here, right?
This is where we're at.
That's where we're at right now.
We're in the mix, apparently.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what that holds, right? Like you can't deny it, right? Because everybody like, oh, they're still going to need me. I'm like, maybe not. My profession too. Like look in real estate, like loans, right? Like they couldn't just upload all my financials to some chat GPT. What does this person qualify for, right? Like there's your underwriter gone. Do an evaluation on the house, appraisal is gone, loan officer's gone, title company's gone, real estate attorney's gone. I'm like, man, you're gonna just wipe the whole field? So it's a lot of industry, Real estate is like, they said like real estate's booming, the whole country's booming. Real estate goes down, the whole country goes down. I don't care what other profession you're in, right? So it's like you have the whole real estate industry getting blown up. I'd be like, it's a pretty big issue.
getting rid of a lot of jobs.
Yeah, that's a ton of jobs.
Well, it's like a few people will own a lot of the work and it'll all be digital.
Yeah, just oversights, like overseeing things. So hopefully it doesn't get to that. I still feel like the human connection wins. Like for me personally, I was trying to be that robot figure like in Zoom, and it just like, I needed it. And then when I went back, and it's like people are so grateful that you took some time and spent with them. So I feel like that's always like, even like this, I told you I did one on Zoom, right? Like didn't hit as effective as this is.
Well, don't you like the room? It's not too
right. It's like it's being in person though makes it,
Yeah.
Us doing this on the phone or on Zoom would not have hit as well.
No. You know what it's like? Have you ever seen Van Gogh's? I'm sure you've been in a museum.
Yeah.
Art Institute in Chicago.
Yeah.
We have one of the best
exhibits.
Chicago does. Did you see like Van
I've
Gogh
been
there?
Recently?
I don't know if you're familiar with art. I just assume people are. But like if you see,
there's an interactive exhibit, right?
Well, there was that, which is interactive, and that's great.
Yeah.
And I'm not against that.
Yeah.
But I mean like his actual paintings.
Oh, yeah.
Like like Monet, like pointillism. I don't know if you're familiar with pointillism as a movement.
Yes.
But like in a picture, and I was looking at one recently, like a print, it sucks because that glitter that exists in reality, like, your conscious or whatever it is that you project or light affects things. When you look, it has depth, it has a feeling embedded in it. It's especially in like pointillist and Van Gogh, where things are implied.
Yeah. It's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's such a great thing to see. Like I saw, do you know who MC Escher is?
I don't think so.
So MC Escher, the stairs? The dude with the stairs?
Which one? Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen that before. Yeah,
All right, so I'm sure most people have.
yeah.
For a second, but yeah. So there was an exhibit with him and Dali at the Dali Museum in Florida,
Okay,
and we were in Florida,
okay.
and like you can look at this stuff all you want, and it looks cool, and it's like, oh, it's an optical illusion.
Yeah,
But when you see it in person, it changes you. Like it does something to you. You like become a part of it. So I think you're right. I mean, I I would say it's no different.
yeah. I hope so, right? Because like, what would you do? There's a huge workforce. We're just talking about real estate stuff, right? Like, but it goes so deep. Like, it could take over every profession. So,
Well,
what are we gonna do?
it's like everyone will just be live streaming themselves
Yeah.
and no one will be watching it. It's like what I'm afraid. That's I was wondering. Like
It's pretty good.
we'll all just be looking at ourselves.
Yeah, this is kind of look what I'm doing today, which is kind of I feel like where it's going though a little bit, right? Like that's who gets a lot of views on social media. Um, yeah,
We like it as
like
people. We do like it.
the consumption
Chemically.
of seeing what's going on with somebody else, right? Like what's this guy up to? Did you post a lot on social media or not too much?
I don't.
Okay.
I'm starting to post more things, mostly business stuff.
I post like some pictures. I went to some seminar thing and there was a speaker there and she's like, you just go on Instagram, do a live story or you do like a post and you just start with like, hey friends, hey gang, like hey everyone, right? Like and that's like supposed to be your way to like break the ice and still continue talking, just doing your daily life. Because her argument was like, this is like the real world. In the real world, everyone tuned in when that first started on TV years back because it was like seeing inside something you really weren't supposed to see. And you were getting all these exclusive looks of like seeing how these people live. People want to see how you live. They want you to like give like full everything, you know? But it's
Yep.
just a lot. Like sometimes, some days I'll be like, all right, I'm going to start this. And then and something happens and there's like a property's going to foreclose and I got to save them. Like, wasn't I supposed to be like, forget all that. I don't got time to do all that, you know? So sometimes it's hard to like make it work.
Yeah.
So
No, for sure. Especially people like I feel like, man, I wish I could just get like a year off. Is there such a thing?
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
not that I would even want to like switch professions or
Yeah.
switch things, but it just seems like there's so much potential in it.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you can't. You just go home, you brush your teeth, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
We
You
were talking about that too. How do you balance life, right?
yeah.
It's hard.
Well, yeah. I mean, the kids. You got to spend time with your kids.
Yeah.
So, what about work? I mean, doing all that, does it demand more than an 8-hour day? Are you smart enough to
mostly.
be able to do it in 8 hours?
Monday through Friday, it's rough. I try to get home, but it's hard. I try to make the kids practices, you know, like take them to things. Then I got my own games I try to go to on Thursdays, and like it's hard to balance a lot. It's hard to hang out during those times too. So Saturday and Sunday, I try not to do anything because like I grew up, and my father didn't have a big staff. Probably why I have a big staff to not do it. Like again, what he was trying his best, right? He worked a ton. He worked weekends to catch up on his files, so I didn't really see him a lot. So
Yeah.
I think that's why I kind of make sure I don't get in that spot. I don't end up doing like paperwork on Saturday and Sunday all day. Once in a while, but not like how I saw.
Yeah. Yeah. It's harder too, right?
Yeah.
I feel like you have to work longer to make
Yeah.
same money now,
Yeah.
and you need two incomes,
Yeah.
and it just is working against us. But
And-
then you read. I think our generation is the first generation to really. I don't want to say coddle, but we have to consider like the human psyche in our kids. Like our
Yeah.
parents did not, in my
No.
opinion, they didn't give a shit about.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, they were.
Check in.
No one, yeah, no one was. But now, like with our kids, everyone is so like aware of their children and
Yeah.
how are they growing? What are they
Yeah.
being taught?
Yeah.
Because before you just watched, TGIF.
Yeah.
There was no racism. It
Yeah.
was beautiful. Everybody
Yeah.
was happy.
There wasn't too many choices, right? It was like 7 channels, 30 channels, you know?
Yeah.
Who watches live TV, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's a big part of it. And I also think like the kids on their own are developing a lot faster too, you know? Like they're downloading apps, they're like playing games. I'm like, We didn't even have any of that, you know?
Yeah. Well, they all are going to be geniuses compared to us. I
Yeah.
mean, just because, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of mental health, right? Because how can you absorb that much information?
That
And
little.
yeah.
Like they put some stat up that like alcohol consumption's down, teen pregnancy's down, drug use was down, like all these things were down. And then the guy was like, this is pretty good. Then the other guy on the same side with it, he was like, because people aren't going out. This is bad. He's like, not that I want all these things, but like, it's not because everyone's making all these active choices. It's they're at home. They're
Yeah.
not going out. They're like loners. We're creating a society of loners.
Right.
And I was like, I didn't think of it like that. First I saw the stats, like, hey, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Well, it isn't, because you know what, too? You have like these weird concepts that are like, here's a fun word, polarizing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And like when you have people feeling like loners and you
Yeah.
have like these really weird concepts,
Yeah.
not that they're not credible or anything,
Yeah.
but they're not really worth that much of yourself vested in ideas. You got to like come here, live your day.
Yeah.
You can't be worried about the Democrat and the Republicans.
Yeah.
I mean, you get so hung up on these like hot topic issues. They like make them a part of who they are as people.
Yeah.
And then it can like erupt because it's like priming for it.
And I was like that. I was getting in so many debates and stuff. Like, I'm like, this probably changed in me like a few years, probably since my mom passed, to be honest. I'm like, who cares about all this stuff? Like, yeah, it's important to know about, but like your day-to-day life, there's so many other things, right? Like, I'm going to be sitting on X or Twitter, looking on Instagram, like getting all mad, making posts, like arguing, like fighting with, like seeing my friends getting in arguments. It's like, what am I even doing? Like, who cares? Like, enjoy life, like have fun a little bit, right? Like,
Yeah.
don't be so crazed with all this stuff. I see all these protests just going on right now. I'm like, who's watching the kids? Don't you got jobs? Like, all that's going through my mind as I'm seeing all this. I'm like, I
Right.
get protesting, but like, how are you doing it? You
Yeah.
know?
Where do you get the
Where
time?
do you get the time? How do
Right.
you have time? You don't got time to go do like visit your parents, but yet you're outside for 14 hours protesting.
Right. And does it, but it's kind of weird,
I don't
right?
know.
It is weird though, because if you don't, you're totally right. And it's like, if nobody stands up, then like the roundup is in all the food.
Oh yeah,
You know
for
what I mean?
sure.
It's like,
For sure.
so it's like, but at the same time,
Like it's
you want to live
it's
life.
a balance on that too, right? Because we just got back from Disney, like Universal. We did a couple weekends ago, or 2 weekends ago, or whatever. But all this stuff was happening, and my friends were texting me like, "Yo, you see what's going on?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't even know. I'm in line for some ride. Like, what happened? Like, I have no idea. Like, but then like you're there, right? And you're just immersed in that. So it's like, does anybody even in this whole realm know what's going on in this Disney thing? Because all people are trying to get in tickets and trains and meeting characters. So it was like we were living, as
Yeah.
opposed to like being at home and being depressed and looking at all this stuff and being down about it. It's like he said was out here doing stuff. So like it's almost like ignorance is bliss a little bit, right? Like I didn't know what was going on, so I didn't get all worked up. I'm trying to enjoy my kids, my wife, my family. So
Yeah.
the weird balance of not only of your own life, but also like how to deal with like news,
Yeah.
balancing that out.
How to deal with the news.
Yeah.
That's a whole new part of life.
Just consumes you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, maybe we'll figure out how to deal with the news.
Yeah. Sometime.
Yeah. Well, what do you say we wrap this up?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. This was really great to catch up with you, but also on this like platform like this is really nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to come back. We might have to do something else.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Cool. Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great.
Thank you everyone for watching. See you soon.